Welcome to the Details Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Williams. And today, when I say I have a special guest, I mean, it's usually somebody very special. But this one, near and dear to my heart, fellow detailer, um, uh, uh, a man who owns a company that does airbrushing and makes hockey helmets. I had this project that I was lining up, and and I'm gonna get way into that. I was sitting at a hockey game, and I was like, "Who do I know that could do a project like this for me?" And I was like, "It seems like I know somebody that does hockey helmets." And then all of a sudden, it was like a light came on, and then I was whoosh on Facebook, and I'm like, "Holy crap, that is the one Mike Hoekstra is gonna do." Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. We got the sun shining and it's, I think 20 degrees outside. So get a little vitamin D.
Definitely some hockey weather. So I'm at the hockey game and I realize Mike Hoekstra is the man. You're from North Dakota. I think North
Yep.
Dakota is a hockey kind
Oh,
of a
yeah.
place because you're up in the Great White North. Is that where you're from and where you've been your whole time?
Yep. Born and raised, small town, North Dakota, rural farming community. And then mom passed away when I was young. Dad remarried. And now we're living in one of the four large cities of North Dakota, which is Grand Forks. So been here since 38 years. So
Yep. So you're used to the winters, not a big deal.
oh yeah,
How about
keeps the riffraff out.
where did hockey come into your life? When do you remember when you very first started watching hockey? Did you used to play? Tell me a little bit about your hockey background.
No, I can't skate. I'm like Bambi on ice, man. Um, the UND, the North Dakota, they were the Fighting Sioux. They changed their name because of the politics and whatnot. But always watched it on TV growing up with the family, and then high school. The Red Wings was my adopted team, so I've been a Wings fan for over 30 years, and just it's one of those games that it's still raw. It hasn't changed. They let them fight. They let them, do just be men and take it upon themselves to, deal with the issue.
Okay. So I'm at the hockey game, and we have in San Diego this tradition, and it is well over 30 years old. I'm not exactly sure how
Yeah.
much older than that it is. I moved here in
Okay.
1999. I started going to games in 2000.
Okay.
There was a man who sat down in the lower level, probably section 9, maybe, because I sit in
Okay.
8, and it's the one to the right of me. And his
Okay.
name was Mike. He had the can of whoop ass, and when we would score, he'd hold that can up in the air and wave it around, and
Right on.
he led this chant. Um, I remember my very first when I started watching hockey, it was at the Indianapolis Checkers. My dad took me to my first game when I was 11.
Okay.
This was in maybe 1980 or 81. Now, the
Okay.
same year that the Islanders won back-to-back Stanley Cups,
Okay.
we were the minor league team for the Islanders, and we were playing
Oh,
for the
wow.
Adams Cup, and we were winning all of those too. So I remember Kelly Hrudey was the goalie on the minor league team
Okay.
back then. He went on to go to the Stanley Cup with the Los Angeles Kings.
Right on.
So I was addicted from the beginning, and I've just always loved hockey. Always, I used to go to the games and just get pissed drunk and yell and have a blast. And
Just
now,
kind of the nature of the beast.
yeah, I don't get pissed drunk and yell now, but I do yell some.
1, 2, it's all your fault. You suck.
So that guy Mike passed away, and that megaphone got given to Fredo. Fredo, we go way back. Well, his wife unfortunately got cancer last year, and they can no longer go to the games. He
Okay.
wants his megaphone back, and he wanted
All
me to
right.
bring it back last year. But I didn't want to
Yeah.
steal it from the Gulls because I feel it's
Yeah.
more of a Gulls tradition and not for me to take.
Right. Absolutely.
So I thought, Okay, they asked me to start taking possession of it again because the San Diego Gulls used to give it to us every time we would go to the game. They would give us the whoop ass
Okay.
and the megaphone. This
Oh,
year
so
they
they keep
asked
it at the stadium.
they have since the 10 years they
Oh,
have
okay.
since we've been
Wow.
in the
Okay.
AHL. Well, this year they were like, "Dan, why don't you go ahead and take this thing home and bring it back to the games?" So it caused a little bit of a hassle with the security getting in for the first like 5 times, but then they had a meeting
Right.
and no, I was good to go. We're the only people allowed to bring in anything like that to our games. Like,
Sure.
so it's
Right.
it's fun. So I thought I can give this megaphone back to Fredo if I should just get a new one. And then I was thinking, I could draw on it myself or put stickers on it and how
Right.
cool. And man, I cannot stop smiling looking behind you.
Yeah.
And so I thought of you while I was at the game, looked you up, and then I don't know if I texted you immediately at that point and then got you out of bed or what the case
Oh,
was.
right.
But you were like, yeah, I'll do that. So I jumped right online and ordered a megaphone and got it sent to you. You took
Yeah. That was,
this plastic megaphone and have
mhm.
completely done more steps than I even thought were possible to do to it. I didn't know exactly
Oh,
what went into it. And I'd really like to kind of get into some of that and talk about
yeah.
um,
Yeah.
the process that you used from beginning to end, from opening the box up with the megaphone in it, and what kind of steps that you had to take to make this thing as cool as it is.
Um, so yeah, basically, I opened it up and then, um, like the first thing I noticed is, they must use like a multi-section bolt or something because there was like just squares, like rings around it, and there was ridges, and it's like this thing's good. I sent you the design. It was gonna be black, and I was like, "Ugh," no, we can't. If it's gonna be black, I gotta smooth it out. So, I got a great local body shop supply and store, and got some uh, uh, filler putty and started filling and sanding and filling and sanding and back and forth, and then got it smoothed out after I know well over a dozen rounds, and then shot a layer of primer on it. And that really makes other things stand out. So then a couple more rounds of filling and sanding, and uh, after that, then I could get the primer down or the sealer, and then put the base coat on, and then we can do the artwork. Yeah, it's in typically, it kind of depends on, uh, what it is. Goalie helmets aren't, usually like that, but in the one video I sent you, you could see that there's still a little bit of lift after that. Not in the base coat itself, but just paint. But um, yeah, after the adhesion promoters put on, that sets up after 2 rounds. So you put a light coat on, let it flash for 5 minutes, and then put a wet coat on. And after 15, so you have between 15 and 30 minutes to apply your the sealer or the base coat uh, in that window, and then let that once that's dry, you're good to go. Put the base color on and keep layering up.
Now, I gave you pretty much any freedom that you wanted. I was just like, yeah, man, go
Right.
crazy. You're an artist. Let's see what you got. And, I just kind of sent you a couple of links and some pictures of,
Yeah.
and this is what you came up with. What were you thinking of as you had, the awesome responsibility of kind of putting a vision together?
Yeah, that's kind of the fun part because I paint a lot of cranial shaping helmets for infants, and the parents have a ton. That's as an artist, you're tasked with taking all these ideas people have and trying to put it together in a cohesive manner. There's times where, yeah, no, this isn't going to work with this, and you kind of have to dial it back a little bit. Um, but with this, so it was the main thing obviously is the Gulls, the San Diego Gulls logo. So that's the main thing, and then the Willie O'Ree, the number 20 that you'd given me, with the history in that, and then of course the chant for lighting up the opposing goalie. Those are like the biggest factors, so if someone's new to the game, it's right there in black and white, and they can read it and join in on the fun. And then because kind of wanted to keep it simple and not too over crazy, but and then I took some pearl in a base coat and ghosted in the SD, so it's there, but it's not overpowering the main objectives of the artwork that you wanted on there. So
now, do you? It's coming from watching hockey yourself. Do you have some memories of some? I think a lot of arenas have a chant of their own. When you go to those Indianapolis Checkers games, I can remember there was this group of people there called the Hawaiian Civ, and they would dress, even if it's snowing outside, they're wearing flip-flops and shorts and Hawaiian shirts. And
right.
they would do their chant and say blah, 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 and they would say Civ, Civ, Civ for however many goals.
Yeah.
What do you have any memories of some fun chants or hockey traditions?
Well, it's been a long time since I've attended a game, but the people that I worked with and stuff, they would go in the student section, so that's where all the chaos ensues with the chants. So likewise, anytime UND scores a goal, the whole student section they're winding up with their hands, whoa, and then they start tomahawking it, calling them Civ. There's been a couple of games where you see them, they get into the goalie's head and he kind of glances up and one flies by because he's distracted by the student section. Another one's like they'll give me an S, give me an E, give me an X, what's that spell, score. Or they'll it gets a little X-rated sometimes, but it's hockey, and it's it's just savage some days by nature.
I think that's what
I mean, you listen to the what's that?
I think that's what makes it such a fun sport to watch.
Right. And especially lately now, you can watch the videos and the players are mic'd up and they're chirping at each other. It's just, it's brutal and hilarious.
Okay. So I've seen this a couple times myself in my Lord 40 some years of watching hockey. Goalie fights. Have you seen a goalie fight live? I've seen it a couple times.
Not live. I remember because being a Red Wings fan, I still hate the Avalanche. I can't stand them. But yeah, the fight at the Joe when was Vernon and Waugh, and then the next year they had another brawl. It was Osgood and Waugh again.
I mean, it's like a couple turtles. Like, there's not a whole bunch of damage they can really do, but it sure is fun to watch.
Yeah.
Now, is it when you paint these things? I mean, you're painting on helmets and stuff, but maybe they have a little bit less flexibility. So this thing has a little bit of kind of maybe give to it. Not that I'm going to be trying to squeeze it into ovals and roll the microphone around. But are we pretty stuck on there? If I bang it on the ground one time, is the paint just all going to like crack and come off?
No, it's
what do I need to look out for?
Beat the hell out of it. I don't care. No, the clear coat I use, it's the same clear coat I use for goalie masks. So it's a high impact clear, and it'll take a puck shot, no problem. I've done a few of them, so one of the people I painted a helmet for was a girl goalie, and her name, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. Her teammates called her bobblehead because she was short and she would stop pucks with her helmet. So yeah, it's a good clear coat, and it's a little bit more high test than a traditional automotive clear. So
Okay.
yeah, you can bang it on the seats. If someone kicks it or knocks it over, it'll take a scuff.
Okay. You sanded it down. You put some sort of a putty on it. You sanded
Yep.
it down. You sanded it down. Then you painted it. And this is all airbrush. I mean, from here, it looks like stickers. They look so incredibly tight and crisp that it looks like it would have to be a
Yeah.
sticker that you put on there. How did how how do you do this airbrush technique to get it to look so incredibly flat and perfect like that?
So yeah, it's basically like in my head. So I'm like the image that will take the Gulls image. So basically, I'm layering colors. So before I even start putting paint down, I'm already planning. Um, the white's gonna be masked off. Period. The black's gonna be the last. So every color you see here is the orange went on first, and then masked that back off, and peeled all the blue away, painted that, masked that back off, did the gray here on the head and the mitt, masked that back, and then you know take everything off, and then or actually masked everything, shot the black, which went around the letters and everything here. So that was masked off, and then once all the that was dry, I cut another 6 stencils and laid them out so I could put the SDs around it. And then after that all was done, I peeled it all away. And obviously, if done by hand, it's not perfect. As perfect as anyone wants it to be, but there's a couple little spots that you have to go around and touch up with a brush afterwards, just because it's the nature of the beast. Hardest part was, the letters or these numbers look like they're squared up, but actually, they're kind of C-shaped, so I could get them to lay flat. So I had to use my geometry teachings from high school to alter the images so it would lay flat on this cone-shaped surface. Because that's the other challenge is it's flat. So you got this flat image that you're trying to make conform around this complex curved surface.
And I think that actually, because it's by hand and there are slight imperfections, is what makes it actually better and cooler.
Right. So that's, and it's a one-off. There's no other thing like this, and it's yours.
Super, super excited. I'm going to try to put some kind of a rubber, maybe like a little grommet or something around the bottom just so it doesn't get smashed down there.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
And then
if it gets worn up a little bit, that's character.
Now, I keep saying this, but I still don't see it in there. You really need to at least put a sticker or something with your website on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if
I'll write something in there.
Maybe these people, will get another thing on Gulls in Flight, or maybe it,
right.
Who knows? Maybe it escalates up and gets on Sports Center or something, or they do a story. I don't know.
Free advertising, man.
Yes, and we might as well take where we both come from in the auto detailing world.
Yeah.
We know that we might as well take advantage of that too.
Amen. Yeah, it's cool, and the video you sent me of I think it was Fredo that I've showed that to my neighbor and a couple of other people, and they're like, "That's really cool." The tradition, the history, and the legacy that this megaphone has for torturing goalies, and just it's fun to be able to be part of that continuation, and hopefully you can pass this one down too.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, brother. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to take on my project, to come on here
Absolutely
and talk about it. This is going to be a really fun video.
awesome. Happy to help out, man.